So, double RS, here she is. So this is going to replace that dirty old ball steering that I have. Unfortunately, everything didn't turn up, but that's all right. So I showed just before the lower control arms with the reinforcing plates, and that was a real problem with these things. They'd squeeze where that bush is. They'd squeeze between here, and they'd move. So I guess their intent here is to make this whole thing stronger. You could probably do that yourself with your own welded plate onto it, but you know, look, mine had been rebushed that many times. I thought it was time to get some new arms anyway. Comes with 2 sets of pins. I'm assuming it's an olefin product, and I guess that is because the camber pins from we'll get this right now, I think from XDs and E's were a bigger camber pin, and they had a thinner rubber piece between the bush. Because this is eliminated all that being an olefin one, it doesn't rely on rubber twist. It's going to rely on that pin there to turn within that bush, and it's lubricated, as you can see. So that's the rack and pin itself. What an awesome looking bit of kit, and this is unique. I know they, if you watch their video, they talk about this bearing assembly they made here, so it tracks true no matter what. Look at the quality of this stuff, that these universal joints. Bought the hydraulic lines for the existing pump as well. Just interesting things I note. So you get new ball joints obviously with your lower control arms, and I've never seen anyone do that before, so interesting innovation. Obviously they're riveted back into place. I cannot stand the rivets because to take them back out, it's just a nightmare. But look, they probably won't fail in my lifetime again. Brand new ball joints. That said, the ones that are on the old arms are brand new, and I'll just take them off and use them as spares later. So anyway, that's the rack and pinion. Not going to fit it till the thing's back from paint. No point. It's like the few other things I'm not going to fit. Spoke about those. Where are we up to? Engine mounts all painted up. Radiator. Oh, that's just a bracket for the alternator. Just painted that up. This I was nearly not going to put back in. So this is the arm that goes down into the battery tray. It's part of the battery tray. And what it does goes like that. The XC351 Auto had a big relay down here, same as ZH Fairlanes. If they were 351, they had a big old relay down there, and there's no relay solenoid assembly on the starter motor. So the relay is mounted under here, under the battery, and big heavy wire. I probably won't keep it. Probably don't need that, actually. Probably kiss that goodbye. I'm going to do a whole new rewire in the engine bay. I'm still thinking about that. I've seen some kits online where you can fit heaps of relays into one modular unit and just get one battery bus over to that. So still thinking about that. So just put a couple of brackets back in. That's all we're going to do. What I have done since I filmed last is you can see that it looks really wet. Well, it's actually quite tack dry. That's fish oil. So I've just absolutely filled it up with fish oil till it was just dribbling, as you can see. So I don't see the point in painting this. You can't see it. They don't paint out of factories. I know some people do, but I couldn't be bothered. So the painter won't be painting that. There's a couple more little brackets done up. So today I've been procrastinating. I'm gonna have to bog, sand, block. So I'll probably rip those doors off in the next day or so. We'll cover up my terrible work there. And start progressing towards getting the car into paint finally. Cheers. What you got, mate? Hey? You're helping your dad. Good boy. What you got there? Hey? A beautiful little man, aren't you? He's a good supervisor. Hey? What a beautiful little boy, Humphrey. Hey, and you got some car parts for Dad. Good boy. Everything straight to the mouth with this one. Like that. Humphrey, come here, bud. Good boy. It's not for puppies. How about we get you a stick? So here we are here. I'd suggest I'm going to try and just fill in these little pit holes with weld, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to have to use some bog. Trying to weld this in and create that is just a bit beyond my scope. What I really want to do is cut one out of another car, and I do have access to another car, but it's 700k away, and time's not permitting me to go and do what I want to do, so I decided to have a crack. I could regret this, but anyway, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that this can be filled, with some bog and Bondi for Americans, and it'll look all right. I'll have a look at the other side because it's a good one, and just compare apples with apples. But yeah, that's what we had to do because that was just rusted out there, so it didn't come up too bad really. I welded it from the back. But these little pieces, I actually cut it out to here, sandblast these tiny little bits, and then put them back into place. It's mostly weld now, but at least it gave me a founding of the shape to try and replicate that. Again, a bit more beyond my capacity, but I'm not too unhappy with it considering the difficulty of this. But anyway, I think it'd be one of those things that if you walk past the car you wouldn't see, especially once we get some bog in there, and try and get that line nice again. That one's not too bad really, so anyway, I'll see what I can do. Well, bugger. I forgot I'd done this years ago, and I'd actually repainted this with a spray can, and I thought I better just strip this. Even though the panel beater is going to strip the rest of the car for me now, I thought I'd just better have a look at this, and wow, not what we want to see. So I'll cut this out now. There's no little spot here. We can get away with that one. I'm just going to have to cut this out and try and do it. Also, a known place for the XCs to rust is in here, and look, it does have a bit, but I caught this years ago. It's just not that bad to warrant cutting that out. Some people would, but look, you can just keep going on and on and on. The door was full fish oil years ago, so it hasn't progressed, and in fact that just doesn't look that bad, so I will fill that. I'm not going to try and cut metal into it. I might try and weld it. Might give that a go, see if we can weld fill. But it's not worth the trouble. This we're going to have to cut out, and I'll have to try and get that bend right. So anyway, I'll cut that out now. The other doors, from memory, it's stretching my brain now, were fine. I don't recall any rust in this door, even though I painted both these doors again with an aerosol can, believe it or not, years and years ago, and they've held up, considering again it was done in North Queensland, where it's just so moist. It's just almost impossible, unless you've got a booth and all that sort of stuff, and I never had that. I did it in my shed. Couple of dents, but that's all right, that can be filled. So anyway, there's always something else. There's always something you'll miss, and I've missed that. So anyway, we've got it now, so I'll cut it out and get onto it. Right. Once again, this old sill is probably going to save the day. Its profile, if you have a look, is pretty close. So what I've done is just loosely mark out where I'm just going to cut a section of this out, trim it up to marry to this rusty old piece, and hopefully this will do the job. So that's what we're going to do. I think I paid $90 for that, and it's been worth more to me in scrap than it has as a sill that I didn't use. Anyway, well, if I thought the indicator hole on the fender was going to be hard, this will be even harder. So how I'm going to attack this, and again it's probably the wrong way, but whatever, Just going to use my magnets there just to hold this in position, and that's nice and flush there. So I'm just going to tack 3 or 4 spots along here. That's it. I want to reset it, and then I'll manipulate it. No, I won't. I've changed my mind. All right, so that's pretty good now. It's going to have a bit of bog, but look, whatever. And same with that, that's pretty good. So what I end up doing is I've got my trusty old tie rod. I don't know if it's Continental like aiming. Aircraft engine bits are made of really hard steel, and they make great drifts when an engine gets overhauled. So when they put them in the scrap bin, I grab them. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this now and give it a good grind down and see how we are. But certainly we're in a lot better place than what we were, having bunches of rust. Now a little pinhole here and a little pinhole here. I don't know if I'll take the risk to try and zot them because there might be more. I need to have a look. In fact, we'll do that now. I need to bring the car down. I said to my wife I need to get an assistant, but you know, money's a problem. Oh. Okay, let's get this thing down. Should be low enough, should be able to see. Alright, what do we got? Like I said, it just doesn't look that bad, this door. And I knew it wasn't that bad because I filled it up with a few wasp nests and rubbish, but fish all years ago when we were up in North Queensland. So yeah, it's just not that bad. It needs a vacuum out, blah blah blah, but it's probably worth a punt. You can probably see what causes the rust. This rubbish they put on in the factory back in the day, sound deadener, it's just junk. Really is junk. I'll try and scrape off what I can out of each door, but time's not my friend. It's been there for 40 years now. It's probably not going to go anywhere. I'm more likely just to spray it with converter and just seal it, to be honest with you. Wasp nests, so many wasp nests. There's that little hole there, so if you can see that, set this thing up in its magnet. It's just, yeah, I don't know if you can see it or not. I'll get the light and shine it through. You can see that's coming through. Now that area, there's not a whole lot of rust around. It's not too bad. I'll give it a scrape before I attempt it, but yeah. Anyway, I could just bog it too. Just can put some converter on it and let a sleeping dog lie, which is probably a smarter way to go. But in the meantime, that's how I straightened that little panel out. That's what you're looking at there. Big gap there, but I will fill that and stitch this thing up. Right, that's the first pass of the weld. Pretty happy, actually. It's not too bad. So a little hole there, there. Just going to go through and try and get rid of those microscopic holes. Probably never will get it perfect. I know what the professionals do, but this is just me. That worked. That was a little spot of rust there. That come up all right. This one chased a little bit, but I'll have another crack at it. I think we'll be okay. Took the door off the car, obviously. So I'm going to dip all the hinges today in the pressure, in the wash basin. What do you call it? Parts washer, I beg your pardon. And just see if they'll come up clean or we need to respray them. I suspect respray. Anyway, beside the point. So not too bad, not too bad. Good recovery, and you can see down here, it's pretty close. Now, obviously it's going to get a bit of filler. It's sunk a little bit, as seems to happen to me no matter what, and I was really, trying to spread the heat as far as I can, but whatever. Again, a little bit of filler. I'll get my panel better to do that. That's what I'm painting for. I'll be honest with you, I had a gut full of sanding and that sort of stuff. It's not my bag. but it saves you money, so that's why we're doing it. So yeah, not too bad. And that was just, remember, that made it out of a bit of found a fold that was pretty close to the mark off the old sill over there, one I never used, and you just don't throw spare metal out, that's my opinion anyway. So I was going to run the welder over that again, like that hole there, there, maybe there, not really sure. That's just a bit of built up weld, but it's pretty good. It'll pretty much do it, and we'll have another crack at that little spot, and that's it. Take the rest of the doors off and the hinges today, and getting the thing ready for transport. Okay, what have we done? So I finished this as well. End up using a little Dremel, because the radius was around about the size of one of the little Dremel radius pads, I think you call them. A cylindrical pad would be correct term, but that'll do. A blind man's going to be happy to see that once it's all painted up and smoothed over. So a bit of a reprieve there, because remember that was all rusted out. That was a difficult little job. Same with this. So I'm happy that second pass, I'm calling that. There's no need to go anymore. It's a bit of a suck in there, so it's going to have to be filled anyway. And that rust hole has been filled, come up alright. This one come up alright. That's good. So I'm just going to hit that with primer pretty much straight away. It'll probably get sanded. In fact, it will get sanded again, and it's got to be filled in that, but stop corrosion setting in over the next 2 weeks before it heads off where it's going to go for its paint. Good. So what I am going to do today is take every door off, like I said, and just take the paint off on the same spot as that one, because I know there's rust there. I'll probably have a look in the inside first before I get too excited. Oh, I'm trying to get the door open, and I'll just have a look at this one. Okay, I'll have to stop filming. I'm wasting time here. Right, but just down the bottom on the inside of that door, just make sure that's got nothing that's untoward. Might have a go at weld filling this driver's door. I'll take it off and put it on the bench, even though I've already converted it. No, I won't. I'm just going to fill it. That converter, geez, I like that stuff. That's that this stuff here from Super Cheap. Converter and seal. It's good gear. Liking it. That's dry as a bone. You can touch that. You can spray straight over that, or you can sand it. Do whatever you want. But it's well and truly penetrated in. And again, this door's pretty good. I've been lucky with this car. It's not too bad, because normally you'd expect to see big rust holes in the bottom of them, and hopefully, as you can see, it's not too bad. You've got a bit of surface rust around where the holes are for the seals, but normally they're rotting out in here. It's just not that bad. I'll flip this over and give that a bit of a clean up while I'm here. There's always something else to do. Alright. Righto, recording. These doors have bite me on the bum a bit. Notice this on this is the passenger front. Notice this on the driver's front as well. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's cracked neat through. So I don't know if it's going to be good enough just to weld that, to be honest with you. If it's cracked there, it's obviously a known weak points where the door handle hangs off. This one was actually a lot worse. I already ground it, but it all goes all the way up to there. It's actually cracked where my fingernail is there, and it's actually cracked in there. If I unprop it, you'll probably see it virtually open up. Not a lot in it. So, and it's pressed metal as well, so it's, I don't know if it's meant to be flat or it's been pressed because of the door handle. Can't really modify it much either, because you've got parts attaching here, and going to be impossible to weld it from the back. Well, probably the only thing I can really do is just weld it back up, to be honest with you. Put a stop drill there. So stop drilling is a method of increasing the diameter of the crack, if you will. It helps it helps disperse the pressure at one point. It's probably a good way to describe it. There's a better way to describe it anyway. I'm out of words at the moment. Then again, if you're welding it, it probably doesn't really matter as long as you penetrate. So I'll weld that up now. The other night I had a bit of a weld and it come out alright actually. See, that was a dirty big hole, and I managed just patiently, just kept feeding it. This has been hit with that rust converter sealer stuff. And same with that, so I'm not too unhappy with that. I mean, a door seal goes over that, so I've just done a little pin punch there. Got to drill that, measure again based on the other door, make sure we get that right, and drill the hole for the door seal. So I don't want to be drilling into fresh paint. So we're only 8 days it's off to where it's going to go and get painted. So time's not my friend at the moment. So anyway, all right, that's that door done. So end up just welding that. It's come up all right. The weld nicely penetrated. So what else we done? In behind here there's a fair bit of surface corrosion, and that was that little hole that I filled in there. I end up weld fill was fine, so I've just put a heap of where is it now? So I bought another brand today. So rust converter seal. It's obviously the same sort of stuff as the super cheap gear. It's all good. And just got my wife to hold the door over at an angle, so we virtually filled that pocket up with that. And then I'm going to hit it with that knockout rust. Weld fill a couple of little holes, as you can see. They've come up all right. And these I had to solid weld because they were big holes, and I've put knockout rust in the freshly drilled hole. So that door is good. We've welded it, we've filled it all up, blah blah blah. So I'll do the other one now, and so on and so forth. Right, where are we up to? So just sandblasted these door hinges and gave them a coat of paint, just to try and, I'm just trying to alleviate a few of the things that the panel beater is going to have to go through. So the less distraction he gets from the core job of straightening the car out on the left hand side for my damage and painting, the better. So that's the deal we have. Hello, here are the supervisors. Hello puppies, how are we going? All good? Alright, so just emptying the car out of all the crap, so it'll be nice and clean when it gets there. Also pulling the headlining out. Just a little tip with these old cars again. So when you take these to the dome lights on the C pillar, you get a little screwdriver in, that little notch, get it out, but the globes hit the chassis, and you can see it wiped it clean. Just be gentle, you don't smash glass or break precious plastic. Good luck trying to find them, I'd imagine. But anyway, just be careful if you're doing any of this. This is one of my biggest stuff ups yet. When I welded the car together, I had the B pillar out and the A pillar out. I pulled this out of the way so it didn't melt it, except that it feeds all the way through. When I get the car back, and I know it doesn't seem logical, I'll pull the dash out of this thing. I don't mean the dash, I mean the whole thing, because I'm going to redo all the pneumatics, which I've done before, but the rubber's already perished again. You know, I probably did it 15 years ago when I think about it, when I was driving the car around. So I'm going to try and retro that as well and use, like they do in modern cars, that you know, that plastic spaghetti. I'm sure you can get it somewhere, something that won't perish and will last till, you know, I'm pushing daisies. A couple of other things in here. Years ago, they have little spot welds holding these braces. Now these braces aren't really structural. They're just to hold the brace for the seat, I suppose. And it had cracked through there, so I've just touched it up with a bit of welding, and it had come away from the chassis so that it actually pulled holes through. So I know it looks ugly, but it's done the job. I well filled the hole first. Also, these holes weren't doing anything. Just had a piece of tape over them. That's not going to be a proper water seal, so I've just weld filled them and I'll paint over them. I'm not even going to grind them. There's just no need. No one can see it. So now I'm pulling the lining out. I've never done anything like this with the hood lining. That looks like a piece of junk. Don't lose it, because there's its matching one over there. So this is obviously designed to hook the upholstery in. I'll probably pay someone to put the upholstery back in. It's just my back just won't permit it. I just don't do well in confined space anymore. I'm too old. So, but I'll get it out again, just for me panel beater. Oh, lordy, excuse me. So obviously I want this all away, so he's got clean metal. So we're getting to the business end of the job now. So it's a week till she goes to paint. I'll just take what I can out today and give it a bit of a clean up. I've got a mate coming over. We'll put the bonnet back on. I'm not going to strip it down now. That'll be done by the guys. So I'm more interested in doing the fit up when I get the car back, to be honest with you. Every time you sand, you just cover your whole shed in just crap. So I've just got to that point. I was going to get it painted by someone else anyway. I might as well let them do all the sanding and all that messy stuff in a facility that's designed to do it. So that's what we're doing at the moment. So we're going to just temporarily bolt it together. Oh, that was the other thing. The boot lid had cracked. So it's a double skin, but it's still not thick enough. So I've just run a weld in there and just ground it, but not all the way, because I don't want to weaken the metal further. I just wanted to leave that bead in there. Again, you won't see it when the mating surface sits on it. Not a great design, really. That should have been rounded off. You'd think you'd put a soft aluminium shim or something in there, but if you did that, then you're going to add to the boot sitting proud. So it's a bit of a catch-22. If I get time, I'll see if I can replace these bolts. You can't see them, but in here, they're just on a cheap little pin. But I've modified this car, like I said before, with pneumatic struts, get rid of the dirty old springs, and it works good, but it does tend to want to sit the boot up a bit proud. So, but I thought if we can get rid of a lot of that play, that might eliminate that. Anyway, we'll get there. Okay, we've got the hood lining out. What do you reckon, mate? That stuff's awful, isn't it? Eh? Don't sniff that. Good boy. That's the insulation. Good tip. Don't let your puppy breathe it like I just did. Don't do that, mate. And don't breathe it yourself. I'll put a respirator on to do this job. As you can see, it's going to be a bit of a mess to clean this out. What did we find? But we found a bit of rust, unfortunately. Good boy. I don't know if that's going to show up yet. It is. Yeah, it's only surface, but I'll get the rust converter sealer onto that. Have a good look at the roof. But otherwise, it doesn't look too bad. Again, the same position. Obviously, moisture must rise up to those 2 points in the roof line. The rest of it looks pretty dandy. Just got to clean out this crap. So, the other thing is, I noticed that these are colour coded. So brown, white, green, blue, red, and all this side are red. So I was going to note that in the maintenance manual there. That's rear, that's front. So I would suggest they might be slightly different lengths, slightly different tension, and they need to go back into order. So I'm going to assume that is the case and make sure that happens. Righto, we're off tomorrow to do the paint. But first of all, our baby supervisor's had a very hard day. Haven't you, buddy? You've chewed your bone? Good boy. It's hard work being a supervisor puppy Labrador. Very hard work. But he's chewed his bone. Anyways, we're just buttoned her all back together and put her onto a car trailer, and we're off to a town tomorrow to go and get it painted. So it'll be in there for a month. So hoping to get a really good job back. I'm sure the boys will do a fantastic job. It's a decent budget they've got, and thanks again, Shannon's, for fixing up my mistakes. All that's going to get fixed up as well. So anyway, that's where we're at the moment. We'll chuck her on the trailer in an hour or so. Just got to put this bumper bar on because it's actually bent, and the boys will straighten it up hopefully, or it might have to be replaced, which will be very annoying. But anyway, good clean bumper bar. Anyway, that's where we're at. On.